Hey guys, hello, this is Deb. So I am going to show you, I think it's 5 projects out of the new mini catalog and celebration. So we're just going to dive right in. So some of these projects we made in our in-person class yesterday, excuse me. So they were super fun. And then there's a couple that we're going to make with the heart-shaped set. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to make is a calendar holder. So I will give you the measurements as we go along, and you guys can write them down. I'm not going to send a tutorial or anything out for these particular cards, but I will give you the measurements as best as I can recall them, because I just realized I don't have a ruler with me. Okay, but that's all right. We're gonna get there. All right. So the first thing is I purchased these from Tailored Expressions. They're the square ones, not the kind of the oblong ones. But this is what they are. If you have the stamp set that Stampin' Up had, it just retired in the last go around, I think in April. You could also make your own. Like you could stamp them all, glue them at the top, and then have your own calendars. So it doesn't have to be this one, but you do get 10. It's a fairly good deal, I think. And then this is what the actual calendar looks like. So just, I don't get anything. I don't get anything, not really promoting it, but I just want you to make sure you understand the size. All right, so here's what we need. We have a piece of blueberry bushel, and it is scored at 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inches on the long side, and at 7 inches. So that is it. 1, 2, 3, 7. Very, very simple. And then we have a piece of soft seafoam, and that is measured at 4 inches by, I have my paper trimmer. We're going to use this. Because if I try to tell you, I am concerned I will give you the wrong measurements, okay? So this is 3 3/4 by 4. Okay, so this piece is 3 3/4 by 4. And then we have a piece of designer series paper, and this is 3 7/8 by 3 5/8. Okay, so it's just an 1/8 inch smaller than the piece of soft seafoam. This is from I will bring it in because I want to make sure we know what it is. It is from the Wildflower Birthday. And this is, it goes with the birthday suite of products, but this paper is gorgeous. I actually purchased the paper, and I purchased the, I think it's Let's Celebrate. It might be the birthday cake. I'm sorry, I don't have that one in front of me. It's the stamp set and dies. Excuse me. And I absolutely love that stamp set. It has a lot of little pieces that you can die cut out to make a boatload of cakes. So if you know a baker or somebody that does weddings, I think it is a wonderful set to make cards. But this paper is it's gorgeous. And it comes with 2 sheets of punch outs as well. So you can do scrapbooking. And they actually make a scrapbooking set with this one as well. So, okay, enough about that. This is our simple card. So there's no stamping in this one. We're just making this nice little calendar. So we're going to score burnish all of our lines now, and just get those so they are nice and flat. Now the first one goes kind of, let's see, make sure I have that right. Actually, yep. And then this one is going to go and fold up. Yep. So we're gonna fold it up this way. I'm just gonna burnish them all the same direction. How about that? That way I'll figure it out when I go, because we're not gonna see any of this anyhow. So before I show you how to adhere the bottom, let's go ahead and adhere these two pieces on to our beautiful card base here. So what we're going to do first, don't want to miss a step. I'm first going to go ahead and adhere. Oops. Hello. There we go. I think I have like 8 bottles floating around, and I always think there's just a little more in there, so I hate to throw them away. Yeah, like I think I need to start throwing them away. All right, here we go. So we are going to put that right down there like this, and just line up all the sides so you have a nice little border. And then we're going to go ahead now, and with all of our score lines at the bottom, we adhere our piece right on top. Now, before we do that, I have some of this Night of Navy blue twine. This is the color that came in the 3-pack. It had, I think, copper clay, this color, and garden green, I think was the other one. So what we're going to do is we want to add just a little bit of twine to the top. So what we're going to do is I am just going to take this around, you know, so I have enough, so I can tie a little bow, and I'm just going to go around a couple times like that. And then you just wrap that right around here and tie a little bow. I'm not tying a double bow or anything. I did on another one, so I will show that one to you. And you can decide if you want to do 2 bows, 1 bow, you know, whatever you might like. But this one we'll just do 1. I love these linen thread colors. They are so easy to work with. So I'm just checking to make sure that it's on there kind of, you know, strong enough, I guess. So we will just trim this down, and we will trim this down. And now we can go ahead, and before I adhere this onto my piece of cardstock, I am going to put this calendar on. Now on the back, you'll want to use like tear and tape or liquid glue. So you can, or Stampin' Seal Plus. So you want something just a little bit heavy, because it's going to last you for 12 months, right? It's going to last you all year long. So make sure my ribbon is out of the way. I'm going to line that up. And the other nice thing about the liquid glue is I can kind of make sure that it is straight. So I'm just going to make sure. I'm going to hold this up just real quickly. Okay, there we go. I think it's straight. I'm just going to press that down, because you guys, if you make it crooked and then you're looking at it all year long, that would be like such a bummer, wouldn't it? It's one thing to look at a card that you make and it's like, oh man, I glued that on crooked. You know, they're going to see. But, you know, they'll keep it for a while and they'll toss it, or whatever they do with their cards, save them. But a little calendar, you got it for a while there. All right, now we're just going to put this right in the center of this piece here. Now, I just find it easier to work with this way rather than to do this, you know, like after I've already glued these together, only because you get a little bit of you're going to get a little bump at the bottom. All right, so there we go. So now, literally, all we have to do is take this piece here, and we are going to adhere it right like this. So if you take that bump in the middle, you can bring it in and bring this one over, and you're just going to adhere it. So let me show you again. So you have those 3 panels. You're going to fold the one down, one over top, and then one like this, so that your bottom is going to go just like that. So it forms, you know, like a W, an M, a W. Well, I guess that's not really a W, is it? I guess it's a W this way. Ta-da. All right, so we're just going to put this down. We're going to add some adhesive right here. And we will stick with our liquid glue. Oops, got a little bit off the page there. All right, and then I am just going to press this right down and kind of run our bone folder over it a little bit if we would like. Here we go. And voila, there we have it. We have our standing calendar. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, it is that easy. So if you guys have ever thought about little gifts to give people, you know, it's still January, which I always feel like January is that time, you know, where you can still send calendars to people. You can still wish them Happy New Year. I feel like once January passes, you know, you're kind of moving into Valentine's Day. So, you know, Happy New Year is kind of gone. That is my own. I did not get that from Emily Post or anybody else. So, I'm not sure what she would say about that one. I might have to look that up. All right. Okay. So that's it. I'm sitting here admiring that little calendar. So I have another one here, and this one I double bowed. So that's what I wanted to show you. This one's like a single thread. This one I actually took 2 layers and just wrapped them around. So I'm kind of liking the single layer, but you know, you guys might like the others. These absolutely fit in an envelope and can be mailed. So, and they're not super bulky. I would just put maybe a piece of cardstock, but I think literally you could send it and only takes 1 stamp. So makes for a nice little gift. All right, so that is card number 1, project number 1. Okay, now the next one we're gonna do is, this is one of the cards we made yesterday in our card class that we had. It's a, if you live in the area, it's a free with purchase class, and we make 5 cards, sometimes 6. And this was one of them that we made. We focused a lot on Celebration, but we did some other cards too, because Celebration is only around for a couple months, and it's good to see a lot of those products in use. So here is our paper. Let me just pull this out. But this is the fruit paper that we used, and it is called Fruit Salad. And I know I've shown this before, so I won't belabor, but super adorable. And just so many choices and options. So if you guys have a lot of cards that you need to create, this little card layout would be good for you. These are bright and cheery, and I honestly think they would be wonderful cards for the spring or summer. So you'd be really getting a head start. We're making this one a Let's Celebrate, but unless I have a thank you. If I have a thank you, I'm going to make it a thank you card. So 3x3 piece of designer series paper. So literally I cut 3 inches one way, 3 inches the other way, and I have 4 of these. This is the beige cardstock that we're using, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of basic black, and this is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So just a 1/4 inch bigger than my piece of designer series paper. I have an inside piece. You know, your inside piece, it really doesn't matter. But just so you know, this is 3 1/4 by 4.5. I'm starting to cut them different sizes rather than 4 inches by 5 1/4. Because to be really honest with you, I don't think people have that much to say. And I kind of like seeing more of the cardstock. So do as you wish. All right, and then we have 2 pieces. So another one piece that is basic black, and this is 1 inch by 3 1/4, and this is 3/4 by 3 inches. Okay, so pretty simple. Not much not much here. We're going to take our piece of designer paper and we are going to adhere it to the piece of basic black. Now you guys could add some stamping to your beige piece if you want. The other thing, and I didn't get a chance to do this before I came online, but you could cut these down just a little bit more. And honestly, this would make for a beautiful note card. I think you could use this and make a whole bunch of note cards as well. And even give those as gifts because it's just, again, bright and cheery paper. Okay, so now let's go ahead and stamp our image. And like I said, we're going to use Let's Celebrate. And that is from, let me grab. That is from this Simply Said stamp set. And actually, I take that back. I'm going to use Thank You because I always need a thank you card. So let's do that. Let's use Thank You. If I can find it. Here we go. And I have a block right here. And we're going to stamp this right in basic black. By the way, somebody in a group that I'm in, and I feel badly because I can't remember the gal's name, but she showed how you can take the, you know, the white, you can buy a white ink pad, and basically it's an uninked pad, and then you get a bottle of the white ink, the pigment ink, and then you can put that in that ink pad. She actually took that white ink pad or uninked pad, which is like all of the other colors. They're more like that foamy, and she put black in it. And I'm telling you, I ordered one. I'm doing the same thing. This is felt, which I like, nothing against it. But I do find sometimes I can't quite get the color always. Sometimes it just seems like it's either really dry or I ink it and then it's so watery, not watery, but you know, and I know that's probably just me and how much I put in there. But anyhow, I love the idea and I'm super excited to try it. So I will try it and then share it with you guys when I do it. So if I remember, I'll film it and then that way I can share it with you. All right, so there's our pretty thank you. We're just going to go ahead and adhere this to the piece of basic black. Again, this is just such a simple card. And these black and white pieces, both, you could probably get these just from scraps that you have. So you could, you know, cut out all your sentiments, put those in scraps, and then take your, get that over a little bit. And then take all of your other pieces here, these other black pieces, and you could probably scrounge around, you know, 3 1/4 by, you know, 3 1/4 size pieces, or just take a piece of, you know, basic black and cut it up into squares. So be perfect. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to adhere this right more toward the top part, and then this piece will go right below it, just like that. So that's what our card will look like after we adhere it. So I'll make sure, I think this fruit has no direction to it. So that's nice. Which, by the way, if any of you have not looked at the scrapbooking sets that are out there, I was working on one yesterday during our card class. The ladies, they're all so self-sufficient. They are awesome. And so I thought I would start cutting up one of the scrapbook kits that I purchased. And I think it's the Snowy Wonder one. Anyhow, I started putting it together. And the first thing you do is and it gives you instructions for the whole thing, you guys. And it tells you how to cut the paper. And when I first looked, I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. But as I was doing it, I was paying even more attention. And it does. It tells you the direction you need to have the paper as you cut it. So it tells you exactly what you need to do, which is just amazing. So I've worked with a lot of different kits, and I've never worked with one where they gave you layouts and they actually showed you how to do all of that. Okay, so here we go. We are going to add a flower to this little guy inside. And soon as I find, oh, here it is. I'm going to use one from the heart-shaped, which we will do next. You can see this has been well used with lots and lots of red. So we're just going to take, I don't want to take black flowers. So let me see if I can use a color. I think the only color I have in here, because a black flower, well, you know what? I'll use this one. This is Berry Burst, because we're going to use this one on some other cards. So, you know what? We'll just use this. We'll just use Berry Burst. So we're just going to tap that in and put some little flowers in the corner. Now, the thing that we did yesterday with our cards is I had a piece of the Designer Series paper that was the apples, and you could cut out an apple from the set. So that was a lot of fun. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to go ahead and put it down like that. There we go. All right. And there is the inside of our card. And there we have it. So there's the outside or inside. Again, super, super easy. Let me just score that down a little bit more. All right, so that is our card number 2. This is the one that we did yesterday with Let's Celebrate, and I added some green, some of that same color linen thread in the garden green. So there you have card number 2. All right, now we're going to move on to card number 3. This one uses the toadstool paper, and I forgot the toadstool punch, but this paper, I think I've shown you guys this too, so I won't bore you with it again. But again, just lots and lots of different colors and shapes and images, little scenery here, you know, just adorable. This, just like the fruit salad paper, this is also paper that you earn during celebration. So you place a $60 order before tax and shipping, and then you get to pick whatever you would like. Just the one thing you have to remember is things do sell out. And I know sometimes people will say, oh, you know, buy now because you don't want to miss out. And that is true. And because things have sold out. So I think it is a very much a realism. All right. So these are the pieces that we need for this particular card. So what we're going to use, let me clear off some of this. So this is a piece of Fresh for Asia, and it is just a single panel. It is 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then this is 5 1/4 by 4. And this is a piece of that Designer Series paper from the toadstools. Then you're going to need a piece that is 2 3/4 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And then we have a piece of Designer Series paper, again, from the toadstools. And this piece is 4 inches by 2.5. Okay, so this is 4 inches by 2.5. And this is also, of course, 4 inches by 2.5 for the inside of our card. And then we just have a couple pieces of scrap that we could use to punch some images out as opposed to stamping them directly on our cardstock. So I am going to run and go grab, because I forgot the punch. So give me 10 seconds. You guys can take a break. I'm gonna go grab the punch and the color we need. And we're back. Okay. Here we go. All right, so this is Poppy Parade. We're going to use that for our little toadstool. And then here is the punch right here. Excuse me. Now, when you're doing the punch, if you want to get kind of all the pieces cut at once, I would encourage you to make yourself a template. So grab a piece, put it in, punch it out, and now I can take this and put it over top and then punch inside those lines. So that is what we are going to do. This is one of those builder punches. And if you don't do that, then I would suggest you kind of measure, like, you know, take one of those 1/2 inch strips you get when you cut for inside of cards, or this is probably like 1 inch, maybe an inch here, 1.5 inches. And then you can just slide it in just that portion of the punch. And that will allow you just to save on paper. Because when you punch, like I just did here, if I were to stamp a bunch of images, and then when I stamp this out, I'm getting all those things to punch through. So it makes it a little more efficient and a little more helpful for you too. So, okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead. Let me clean this one stamp here, the flowers, and then let's go ahead and adhere some of our pieces together. And then we can go ahead and do some of our stamping. All right, but that way it just reduces our stack here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and adhere our layer onto our panel of cardstock. This is another great way if you're just kind of looking for ways to make a lot of cards, but save just a little bit on, you know, your adhesive, or not adhesive, but on your cardstock. You know, this is a great way to do it. You just make kind of a panel card. And then we have this piece here, which is going to be where our front piece of our card is, as well as for the inside, which is where we are going to write our sentiment. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let's stamp, though, one of the, I'm going to stamp, there's a little ladybug in here. Let's see if I can, let's see. Oh, that might not work. Let's do this. Let's just stamp maybe the top of a little mushroom, and we'll just kind of stamp that right inside. And we're going to stamp it with this, with Poppy Parade. That is one of the colors inside this. So I'm just going to stamp it right here. There we go. So we're not really stamping the whole thing. We're just going to add a little color to the inside. All right. So we'll go ahead, add some adhesive, and put that right down. By the way, this size 2 3/4, I think it is. I think you get 3 panels if you were to take it down, like on one piece of cardstock. So again, kind of gives you lots of options there. And then we're going to go ahead and put this piece right on top. Oops. All right. And you guys, you know what I think? I think I punched my I punched my one piece and I think I needed that, but that's okay. All right, so then this is the piece that's going to go on the front. This is going to contain our sentiment as well as our little toadstool here. So we're going to go ahead and put this right here, and we are going to pull out our greeting, which is going to be just popping up to say hi. I love this font. I just love that, popping up to say hi. It's very generic, you know, kind of a nice little, I'm gonna take this stamp off here. We'll use that one a little bit later. So we're just gonna say popping up to say hi, and we're gonna add that right to the bottom of our piece of cardstock here. Okay, and we will put that right about here. There we go. Ta-da! All right, now we're gonna, let's clean this off. Keep our stamps in good order. All right. Some of these I actually did. I don't know that I did it on these particular two. It might have been on this one. If you guys can tell, this one's so much more red than this one. I think I stamped on this one before I used Versamark, and this one I think I ran through Versamark a couple times. So it's not as red. It just sometimes just helps eliminate, oops, some of the staining. But again, no big deal. It doesn't hurt the stamp. It's just red ink seems to fill those pores a lot more than some of the other pieces do. That's all. So again, not anything too major. Okay, so we are going to take this particular stamp, the one with the, let me show it to you on the outside of the package. We'll take this one right here, and that's going to be the one that we are going to stamp on our card, and then we are going to stamp the stem. So we're going to stamp our little toads, our mushroom first. And I'm going to kind of stamp it at an angle here. A little bit of an angle. I don't have a mat, but this has just a little bit of give on it. So, but remember, when you're using photopolymer, if you don't have if you're stamping directly on like a really hard surface, sometimes you just need to let it sit there just for a second or two before you lift it up. I used to always be so quick to pull up the stamp, and then it would get, I would lose, half the image. Okay, I just thought, oh, there it is. Okay, so now here's our stem, and I'm going to stamp that in black. I did the other ones in gray granite. Some of the, like the brownish tones are good to use. So I'm using this one because I don't have the other. Now, you want it to go in that triangular part right there is where you want the stem to go. So I'm going to press that again and go right up to that area and then stamp down. There we go. And there it is. Now, I also, and there's a few little, I don't know if you guys can see here. There's like a few little black spots in there. Do you see that? So I'm just going to see if I can get some of this ink kind of to transfer. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So what I did was I had some holes in there. So I took like just the little end of the stamp and put some color on it and then dabbed in the middle. I would not do that if you don't have a big enough space to work with, but it, going to be, what's the word? Dangerous is not the word I'm looking for. What is it? Adventurous, that's the word. Adventurous. You're going to be adventurous. Okay. So I'm just going to leave this one like this. So I don't have another card I can show you because I gave it away. And then our template here, I brought in the punch, but we're not going to use the punch because I stamped directly on the paper. But you guys, most of you know how to use a punch, so we'll just leave it like that. All right, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right on the front of my card. Look at that. All right. Let's do da-da-da. All right, there we go. And we will just stick that right down in the middle there. And voila. And then I have some of those beautiful gems here that you can get out of the new catalog, which by the way, another little tip, I trim this top part off that has the flap. I just started doing this, and then I can just pull these out and it's much easier to get to them rather than to undo it. And so I store them upside down. So just a little tip there. All right, so I'm just going to take a couple of these and put them on the front of this card here. Just add a little bit of color. There's no, rhyme or reason, and I think I'll just use a variety of colors here. Maybe we'll put one over here. There we go. And then we'll attach it to our card base, which goes basically just centered right in the middle there. So again, you could make, you could cut your paper, like a whole bunch of your cardstock, and then just put these together. Super duper simple. I'm going to line that right up in the middle there. But who wouldn't love to get this colorful card in the mail? I mean, I don't know anyone. I know I've said this before, but, and it's Mail Out Monday. Today's Mail Out Monday, right? So today's the day to mail out. Only there's no mail today, right? No mail today because of the holiday. But it could be Mail Out Tuesday then, you know. It doesn't rhyme, doesn't have a little catchy phrase, but that's okay. But who would not love to receive this card in the mail? It is adorable. All right, so there we go. There is our third card. Okay, now I want to show you two cards made with the heart-shaped, this right here, heart-shaped. This is another one that is, you can earn, that is free. You have to earn it. When you spend $120 before tax and shipping, then you can get both, you get both of them. You get the dies and the stamp set. So if you like making a lot of little cards, not little cards, but a lot of cards about love and, you know, just that kind of thing, you will love this. You will love it. It's got all kinds of leaves and flowers and, of course, the beautiful little vine heart. And it has even a label die. Okay. So here we go. Let's go ahead and make some cards with this. All right, I'm going to put that right there. Let me move this out of the way. And let's bring in our pieces for our next two cards. Okay, I have a lot of little pieces around, so I think we'll do this one. We'll do this one first. So this is Petunia Pop. So this is Petunia Pop 11 by 4 1/4, and then I have a piece of the Designer Series paper that is the patterned paper that's in each color family, and this is the in color family, so this might look familiar. I'm using the striped piece, and this is cut at 5 1/2 by 3. All right, so it's basically, you know, it's a good little size piece of paper. And then I have a little strip here that I'm going to be using. And this is, I think, what is that? 3/4 by 2 7/8. 3/4 by 2 7/8. Okay, so it's just a little piece that we're going to use. And honestly, we're going to use this just as kind of a decorative piece. Is all. So nothing really fancy there. And let's go ahead and do this first since we're going to do something else with it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to squirt it with some water and I'm going to crinkle it all up. And then I'm going to open it back up. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to squirt a little bit. This is a spritzer. So a little Stampin' Up spritzer. And now I'm going to take it and carefully kind of just roll it up. And you're just going to make it look a little bit textured. If you wanted to, you could just run it through an embossing folder. But this way, so if you're new to stamping, this is a great way to kind of get, you know, if you don't have maybe an embossing machine yet, and you're like, well, what can I do? This is something you can do. And if you have a paper trimmer, the other thing you could do would be to just use your scoring blade and score lines. So there we go. So this is what we get now. It's just kind of a ruffled piece of paper, right? So we're just going to set that off to the side. And let's go ahead and do a couple things here. I have a heart shape that I've already die cut from the Berry Burst paper. Okay, so this is Berry Burst. These are Petunia Pop. This is Berry Burst. All right, so I've just run the die through it. That was all. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to do some stamping. So I'm going to grab my beautiful heart stamp here. Make sure I get the whole thing, which it fits on this. This is a D block. Okay, so it fits on a D block. And I'm going to take Berry Burst ink. So let me grab that. Just right here. We're going to just kind of get a few things off of our table here so we can be a little less messy, right? Okay. So here is Petunia Pop, and we're just going to ink this up. Now, what I'm going to do is... okay, I don't have a piece of paper. I'm going to put this underneath it. So I did a video on all the different things you can do with Stampin' Right markers. So that's what this is from. If you missed that video, you can see it on YouTube. All right, so ignore all the writing. This is what we're going to focus on. But I'm going to go off the page a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp a heart. And then I'm going to stamp off here. Okay, then I'm going to go up here and do a little bit of stamping on. Now, I stamped off, but if you look at my, I want to make sure you guys see this. There's like a lot of ink right here, but there's not much here. So when you do a stamping off, make sure you always go back to your ink pad. And even if you want to create a stamped off image, which I do down here, make sure you stamp off and then stamp your image. The reason is what will happen is you will get like a half image, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to stamp off and stamp right there. And then I think we're going to maybe have to do just a little bit of a stamped image here. There we go. Oh, and let's maybe do just a little bit up here. There we go. So there you have it. Can you guys see? I hope you can see that. It's just a bunch of different little hearts that we stamped on this piece of designer series paper. So instead of putting just the blank piece, we're going to give it a little bit of a, we're going to step it up a little bit and stamp right on it. I'm going to show you another one I did on the Pretty in Pink using berry burst. And this is what it looked like, which I thought came out really nice. This one, I didn't do one like directly in the middle. I just kind of stamped all the way around. I think I like this maybe a little bit better, but this is what we're using. So we'll get rid of that. We'll take our piece of, we're going to push that out of the way because we're going to need it here in just a minute. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to adhere this directly to the top of our piece of cardstock there. Oops. And so these are just some really quick cards, but the thing I like about this stamp set, I was saying it earlier about the fruit paper, but this is one in the next card example I have for you. And again, I'd already made the card or got the idea for the card size on a regular card like this. But I think the one I'm going to show you, I think would be really neat if you did it on a piece of, a note card. I'll spit it out there. All right. Now I want to use this as a little accent piece. So I think I'm actually going to rip this a little bit too. Not a bunch, but just a little bit. Just to kind of get it out of the way there. There we go. So now I have this here. And I think I just want to adhere it maybe down here. And you know what? I think we'll put our sentiment right on top of it. But this little guy, we are going to put it right over top, or kind of offset it right over top of the heart that we actually stamped. So I'm just going to dot some of the tombow right on those leaves. And again, I just need enough to adhere it and have it stay in place, which should be fine. And I'm just going to drag it to the end here and pop that right on top, like so. And just push that down. Okay. And then we're going to take a small piece here and let's stamp thank you, because I love thank you. And this is turning out to be a little bit of a monochromatic card. So we're just going to stamp thank you on here like that. Perfect. I'm going to stamp the other side just in case I can get it to be a tad more straight. Yeah, I think this side might be a little more straight. All right, so I'm just gonna, all I'm doing is cutting this down now. So we're just gonna, oops, cut that down. And we're just gonna put it right on top of our piece that's right here. Okay, and then we'll trim this piece down. So there we have it. We'll just add a little bit of adhesive right there. Put our greeting right on top. And there we go. And we will cut this down a little bit. We won't cut it so that it's right to the end. We want it to stick out just a little bit. And let's see, I think we'll cut it. Let's see. Well, I think we're going to cut it straight. I think we'll cut it straight. There we go. I think I might like that a little better. Okay, here we go. And we're going to pop this up on some dimensionals. And that will be our card. So very simple, and we're going to add a few sparklies to this. So there we go. We'll just put that up so it's close to the heart, right? Kind of maybe even put it right there. By bringing that up a little bit, it's going to make this area really our focal point. And then I think we'll use some of these iridescent, and we'll use the white ones here. I think that will be pretty. So we'll use a couple of the larger ones here. And, well, actually, I guess we'll just use maybe one large, and then we'll put maybe one down here. And that way it kind of keeps our eye on that whole area. But there you go. Simple card. But it gives us, we have a little dimension there. And the stamped image makes it just look a little bit more like it's got a little more pop of color. So that is one card we made using the hearts. Now I have another one, and we're going to use the same color, Berry Burst. So we're going to stick to what we have, and we're going to take the same type of designer series paper. So this is 3x3, and then we have a piece that is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. So small border, and then this is, I'm going to say, yeah, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 of basic white. This is regular 8.5 by 4 1/2, 8.5 by 8.5 by 4 1/4, and it is scored. Or I'm sorry, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. As soon as I said it, I'm like, that is just not right. I know I'm not saying that correctly. And then of course I have a piece for just the inside. And then remember I mentioned that there was that label die. That's what this is. And that is what we have. So I'm super excited. This card is another one that I think you will find is very, very simple to make, but it just looks very, very elegant. This is also the card that I think you could do with some note cards. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp our image. So again, we are going to take that beautiful heart, that vine heart, and we are going to stamp that in the center of this nice, lovely striped paper. There we go. And then let's go ahead and stamp our greeting, because we're right here. So let's go ahead and do that. And that way we are, we're good with our stamping. And we'll stamp the inside too. That way we can focus on just assembling our card and be good. All right, so here we go. Let me clean our stamps here and just get these out of the way. All right, I love that. Thank you. It reminds me of like I had one like it, but it was bigger. I like that, which even works better with your, if you're thinking about, using, hello, why can I not talk? If you're thinking about, using note cards. Okay, so here we go. I am going to stamp this image here, and we're going to stamp it. I'm going to pull this a little closer to me, so that I can see right over top of it to get it nice and lined up. And that'll work. One thing about when you do small images, you have to be sometimes like so precise, which I think that's off like by a hair on the right-hand side. But hopefully no one will notice. Okay, we're going to take those same 3 flowers we used on another stamp, and we're going to use them here, and we are just going to pop those right in the center, right in the corner of our card. So that's for the inside, right? Okay, so now we can put our ink away, and we can start to assemble. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we have all these layers, which really, that's what makes our card for this particular one. So we're going to take this, we're going to add some adhesive. Now on any of these cards, if you had some ribbon, that would be nice to add. We're going to add a little linen thread, I think, to this one. So this one has a really small border all the way around. So there we go. And then we're going to take it and we're going to layer it right on top in the center of that piece of basic white. So it makes a really pretty frame. Okay. And let's put that right in the center. There we go. And now we layer them all on top of our beautiful card there. And then this, you kind of have a choice. You could put it right in the center, or you could put it at the bottom. And you know what? I think I kind of like it in the center, which means, and the reason I say we kind of figure that out is because then we want to position this a little bit more in the center of our card from top to bottom rather than, but yeah, I think I kind of like it in the middle of that heart rather than on the rest of it. So that's where we're going to put it. And I was going to use some twine, but you know what? I think I like this just like it is. But you guys tell me if you would have done the twine. And then I think I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. So let's get some of those. And I think, yeah, I think these will fit. Let's see if our large dimensionals will fit in that up. Yep. They do, they do. So we'll put 3 of them in here. It is definitely overkill, I think. Now, if you have minis, which I do, you could also do that. You could definitely use minis on this one. All right, there we go. The reason I put maybe more is strictly, push that over just a bit. Yeah, there we go. I like it. What do you guys think? It's so simple. Such a simple card, but I love it. I think I'll have to give that one to my husband. Okay. So now I have these little guys, and I think I'm going to stick some of them on here. So I'm just going to find different places, maybe a big one there, and then 2 small ones down here. And I think I'll use all the same color. And there we go. This free set, though, this is like your Valentine set, right? You get a pack of paper and, you know, that set, you could use whatever colored cardstock you have. If you're making cards, I was thinking about this, and then, oh, let me glue this in while we're talking. I thought if you have Valentines you want to send friends to, I thought, you know, it's like like roses, you know how they're yellow? You know, like you give yellow roses to a friend. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that be nice? You could do a whole Valentine in like different shades of yellow, like Lemon Lolly and Daffodil Delight. And so I didn't get a chance to do that yet, but I think I might. Or if you know a little class that could use some Valentines. I don't know. There's just so many choices. All right. So that was our final card. So let me go ahead and share or put them all back out, all the things that we created. So this was our last card. And then this was the first one, or the other heart one that we made. Again, very simple design. And then these are some of the projects that we made in our card class that we did in person. So we used the Poppin' Up. Again, you earn that free mushroom paper. And then we have this one, which is the fruit salad. And then this, of course, this is one that stands and makes a calendar, but this is the not wedding paper, birthday paper, which also has a lot of the cutouts that you can use. So you guys, those are all the projects. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of a longer one, but I haven't shared a lot of projects with you recently. But if you haven't checked out the techniques you can use with the markers, please do that. I will be back next week, if not, maybe tomorrow night or Wednesday, with another video. And then we are going to talk about Card Club, and that's coming back. And we are going to talk about some product-based classes. So I'm going to share with you guys some additional projects, and we're going to start kicking off those product-based classes to go. So, okay, thanks so much, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. Talk to you later. Bye.